So 500K is 5 100K deals. In order for you to close 5 deals, I need to send out 10 proposals. In order for you to send out 10 proposals, I have to have 25 sales calls. In order for me to get 25 sales calls, I have to send 443 emails. In order for me to send that many emails, it's going to take 33 hours of my team's time to get to 500K. So I'm going to hurry up and go because I already lost 5 minutes. I don't know how that happened. So I want to start with a quick story. I'm so honored and excited to be here tonight. I want you to win, and I'm going to give you my best, and I promise to show up, and I will be here for you. There's no time for questions, but I will be here to answer any questions that you have throughout the weekend. So I want to start and tell you that I started this awful habit of checking my phone as soon as I got up in the morning. And I don't know why I did it, but as much as I tried to stop, I couldn't, because all I could think about was money, or really lack of money. And what I realized was it was obsessing and taking over everything in my life. And one morning I was up and tossing and turning. I heard my phone vibrate. I looked at the clock. I knew it was 4 o'clock, which meant that was my bank letting me know that something had just come out of my account. I knew exactly what it was, and I knew I didn't have enough money. So what did I do? I pulled out my phone and I looked at my bank account, and this is what it said. 1-figure balances, y'all. One is $1, which is like almost a 0-figure balance. And I don't know why in that moment I took a picture, because I never wanted to forget and I never wanted to repeat it. And this is not Photoshop. This is actually my account. So I realized in that moment that something had to give. And I didn't understand. Like, I was doing all the things. I was working every single day. You name it, I was doing it. I was doing launches. I was doing podcasts. I was doing interviews. I was doing social media. I was doing ads. And I didn't have any money that reflected the amount of effort that I was putting in my business. And I was tired. And I woke up with this feeling of being ashamed, and I felt guilty, and I was beating myself up, because who was I to leave a well-paying job with benefits, vacation, and weekends off? Why would I miss my kids' events, not sleep, say no to every friend and family function, and even when they drugged me there, I wasn't present. I was there, but I was thinking about, how dare you not be working and be here? Like, you don't deserve to be here. So in that moment, I realized something had to give. Because what the most humiliating thing was, month after month, was having to go to my super sweet, supportive husband, which is here somewhere, I can't see y'all, and have him bail me out of my financial mess again. I felt humiliated. I felt like I was disappointing him, and I was letting everyone down. And something had to change. This is not what I imagined when I thought that I was going to go into business and be successful. Like, this was not the picture I had in my mind at all. And then I remembered this quote that I heard that said, "Life is like a flash of lightning in the dark of night. It is a brief moment of tremendous potential." Say it with me, tremendous potential. How can I have tremendous potential? That's what I thought I had. But I feel like sometimes as entrepreneurs, we're walking through a dark forest and we can't see anything in the dark of night. And we can go down this path, and maybe it will lead us out of the darkness to the goal, or we can go down this path, and maybe it'll lead us right off a cliff. I don't know. But my goal for you tonight is that we clear the fog and the darkness, and you have a glimmer of what is possible when you master sales. Cash flow should never be a reason we have to say no. No to our family, no to our community, no to our team, but most importantly, no to ourselves. So I want you to do something with me. So put your pens down, close your eyes, take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Take another deep breath in and a deep breath out. And I want you to imagine you're living the life that you dreamed. What do you wake up and do? How do you spend your day? Who do you see? Where do you go? And how do you feel? Take a deep breath in and deep breath out. And when you're ready, open your eyes. And all of you have a $2 bill on your table. It's fake, y'all. And I want you to write that feeling on that bill. So write the feeling that you're going to feel every single day as you live your dream life. So in order for cash flow to never be an issue and a reason that we have to say no, we have to shift our perspective. Because if I say, let's get you there, then the first thing I'm going to say is we have to sell and we have to make more money. But when I say that, some of y'all get hot a little bit and your palms start to sweat and you start to get uncomfortable. But you have to shift the way you believe, because sales are the sacred vehicle to get your gift to the world. And if you don't sell, you're doing a disservice to the people that are laying awake at night trying to find you. So if they don't find you, what could their life be like? How bad could it get? You're not selling them, you're serving them. Sales are an act of service. And you know what? If we don't embrace selling and we don't get comfortable asking for our value, we're going to ride this, which is the revenue roller coaster. And this is exhausting. You have to find the client, then you have to sell the client, then you have to fulfill and serve the client, only to be, I need more clients. Then you got to go find the client, then you got to sell the client. It's this vicious cycle that goes over and over and over, and it's exhausting. And it consumes everything. There's no stability. You work hard, and it's always feast and famine. But we don't have to do that. So what we're going to talk about is how you can have repeatable, profitable sales. How amazing would that be? So this is how we can break it down. So if I talk to Angela, and Angela like, Bethany, I want to make $500K this next quarter. You should be able to tell me the time, the money, the team, and the effort it'll take to close $500K. So in order for you to close $500K, say your average deal size is $100K. Because we're talking about bigger numbers, because we're done playing small. We're done shrinking. We're not doing that anymore. So what we're doing is we're actually going to charge what we're worth and what everybody else is getting paid that we're not getting paid. So 500K is 5 100K deals. In order for you to close 5 deals, I need to send out 10 proposals. In order for you to send out 10 proposals, I have to have 25 sales calls. In order for me to get 25 sales calls, I have to send 443 emails. In order for me to send that many emails, it's going to take 33 hours of my team's time to get to 500K. 443 emails, 25 sales calls, 10 proposals, 5 deals closed. My goal is met consistently, predictably, consistently predictable income and profit every single time. That is the certainty and clarity that you can have if you understand your sales process. Does that make sense? And this is not just specific to service-based businesses. It can be any type of business. But you know what? That hustle and that grind to get to the next sale is a temporary high, and we're doing great, and then it's back again. So we have to shift that sales will allow us to have peace and certainty and security in our business. Everybody okay? Okay. So let's talk about how we land dream game-changing clients. So say it with me, dream game-changing clients. So who is that? That means if I close one, it will change the trajectory of my business and the quality of my life. That means I can hire the team. I can buy the tech. I can pay for the things. And maybe for the first time, I can have peace and a sense of security in my own business. So my goal for you and my challenge is in the next 30 days, I want you to have 2 meetings with 2 dream clients. 2 meetings, y'all, 30 days. I'm not saying you close it. I'm saying you have a meeting with someone that will change your life and your business. Now, you don't have to accept it, but you're all overachievers and you're writing it down, so I appreciate that. So let's talk about how we're actually going to do this. So first of all, you need to identify who your 20 dream clients are. We're just going to start with 20. And it's very important at this step that you have an idea of the dream clients that you want to serve. I don't care if you're not selling to them now. I don't care if you think you're not ready. I don't care. You don't have to worry about how yet. But before you say you're not ready, let me caveat this and say, do not wait until you feel like you're ready. It's just an excuse, and you are ready now. You have enough, you know enough, and the point is to get into a conversation with your dream client. We are entrepreneurs that are strappy, resourceful, and guess what? If somebody wants to pay me $500K, I'll figure out how to solve the problem. So don't get caught up in, oh, I would love to work with Chick-fil-A, but I've never worked with Chick-fil-A. None of that. Dream game-changing clients. Because here's the thing. Say you're a health coach and you have training programs and coaching and you charge $500 a month. And say you like that $500K number, so you want to meet that $500K number. Well, if your program is $500, you only need to sell 1,000 of your courses. 1,000 feels like it's a lot, and it is a lot. But what if you go after a company that has 10,000 employees? And you say, I can help them live healthier lives, and I'll do it for the low of $50 a year for all your employees. 10,000 employees at $50 is what? 500,000. So you sell one company. Now you're saying, is a company gonna buy from a health coach? And you know, I do group coaching for busy moms. Absolutely. If they have healthier employees that feel valued, that are actually living healthier lives, they call out sick less. Their healthcare costs go down. They're more productive. The company makes more money. So you're cutting their costs, you're making more money, their employees feel valued. Why would they not pay you $50 a person? So we have to shift that we are worthy and we have crafted our expertise to this point so we can get these dream clients. Now, you have to find your decision maker. So if you're like, I sell B2C, I don't know who to sell to in Chick-fil-A, I don't know, who do I even go after? The health coach will go after HR or benefits, anything that has to do with employee well-being, that has to do with products for women, that has to do with support or books for men, whatever it is, that would go to HR or benefits or somebody that does employee assistant programs. If you're selling business to business, it's a CEO, a founder, or president. But your goal at this point is to find the title of the person that would be at the dream companies. And listen, the dream companies don't have a problem writing a check for $100,000. But you're spending hours upon hours upon hours trying to sell somebody $497. So why are you spending so much time and effort trying to sell one person that may or may not have the power to buy their own stuff? You spend time nurturing a person that works at home or stays home with their kids, and then they say, well, I got to talk to my partner. And now they have to sell your value to somebody else that has control to pay you. Why don't you spend your time focusing and nurturing on a person that has the power to buy for $1,000? So ideally, we want to connect with them through a warm connection. If you have it, you may not have it, and that's okay. So if you go into LinkedIn, everybody in this room, I don't care who you sell to, should have a profile on LinkedIn. And when it says, oh, you have contacts in LinkedIn, do you want me to import them? Absolutely. Yes, yes, yes. Check, 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 check. I don't even know who half these people are. Yes, I'm connected to them. So if you have a warm connection, you can go onto LinkedIn. You now have your decision maker's title. You know her name, and you can see if anybody that you know is connected to the people that you want to know. Now, you have to reach out to these people and tell them what you do, because we make the mistake to think that everybody knows what we do, and nobody knows what we do. So you might have to do this little mini pitch to them and say, hey, I'm trying to reach out to Coca-Cola. I can help them live healthier lives, and it cuts their employee costs and all this thing. So you might have to do a little mini pitch to them so they feel like they can trust referring you, especially if you don't really know them, like you're connected, but they're like, I don't know what you do. So you have to be clear on what the ask is. Make it as easy as possible for them to connect you. So once they say yes, copy and paste the pitch so they can send it. The other thing you can do is everybody has a cell phone with contacts and a drawer somewhere filled with business cards from people that you've met over the course of however long. Everybody needs to know who you're trying to connect with. And I know our family's special, but you never know who people know. So even your own family might be like, well, I don't know anybody at Coca-Cola, but the guy that I trains with this executive that works over at Delta. Bet, I need his number. So you can also go to community events, charities. There's a lot of corporations that will sponsor organizations, and they'll show up at those organizations. And they'll be at those events. So if you don't know anybody that's warm, then you have to connect with them cold-ish. So what we're going to do, where's Adrian Simpson? Can Adrian stand up, please? So Adrian's with LinkedIn Pros. If LinkedIn is new to you, it's a lot. And are you still taking appointments, or are you booked up? She's got a couple slots open. So I'm just saying, so if you reach out to her, she can help you navigate LinkedIn. But LinkedIn is a very powerful place, and it's almost as important as a website when it comes to B2B, because that's where all the business people play. So you don't have to be a pro, you don't have to advertise, you just have to show up and be there. Don't worry about a content strategy, none of that, just be there. So you want to engage with content. You can do that even though you're not connected. You want to do a connection request. You can see what groups they belong to, and you can join those groups, and you can start to nurture this conversation. Now, what I don't want you to do is I don't want you to connect with them and immediately and pitch. Because some of you are going into this not knowing if this is the right person, and you need to identify, do they have the problem or do they want the solution before you just go in with the pitch. Ideally, I'd like you to just start to get to know them and get them on a call, and then qualify them, have 3 or 4 qualification questions, and qualify they're a good fit or they're not. If it's not them, then who? Will they introduce you? Now, this is my favorite, y'all, and this is the one that nobody likes. And this is cold, like ice cold. But I'm telling you, if you take the time to figure this out, this is money. Just as much, if not more, as advertising. But you have to figure it out. And before you say, I'm just going to outsource it, I'm just going to hire somebody to do it, you can, but you cannot do that until you understand your own sales process, because no one can sell you like you. And if you can't teach people how you sell, then they're just going to struggle, they'll be frustrated, you'll be frustrated, it's not going to work. And you think this whole thing doesn't work, and it's not that. So if we start with cold, if you go with cold email, you can find anybody's email online. I can find the CEO of Google's email online. Now, he might not check it, and he might not answer it, but you can find it. You have one objective in sending cold email: to build trust and credibility. That's all you have time to do. You do that by saying, this is the problem I understand, and these are the outcomes and solutions I have done for others. Either they have the problem or they want the solution. If they don't, you don't want to waste your time. They're not your people. Does it make sense to connect? Do not ask them to opt in for your lead magnet, join your challenge, watch a webinar. They're not going to do any of that. Do they have the problem? Do they want the solution? Does it make sense to connect? That's all you have time for. If you don't want to go through the hassle of trying to find them and find their email, then you can sign up for Sales Navigator on LinkedIn, and you can go to the LinkedIn version of their inbox. You get $50 a month, so treat them like gold. And same thing. Love to connect. This is the problem I solve. This is the solution I've delivered for others. All you have time is trust and credibility. I don't have to know you or like you to do business. I just have to trust that you can do the thing that you say you can do. So the other thing we can do is snail mail. Y'all remember mail? Guess what? You might say, nobody sends mail. Exactly. Nobody sends mail. So you can send, except for one person, you can send things in the mail. So Lamar calls it chunky mail. So do y'all remember tchotchkes? Like you could buy these little magnifying glasses. You could buy like 100 Rubik's Cubes or magnifying glasses or dump trucks. You put one sheet in there, put a Post-it note, sign it, connect the tchotchke to the offer, to the what you do, and they get this thing in the mail, and it's like weird shaped. And they're like, what is this? It's a present in the middle of the day at work. Yeah, you're going to open it. People like to get mail. So don't, and if you're not sending 1,000, y'all, you're sending 20. You can send 20 envelopes and write 20 Post-its and print a flyer or print a brochure, print something. Don't print a brochure to opt in for your lead magnet, go to your webinar, join your challenge, but this is the problem we've solved. On the page that I'm going to send you to, I'll give you a template in Canva that's called a capability statement. You replace your picture, you replace your value proposition, you replace your past performance, and you print that. The last thing, the best thing, and I know y'all don't want to do it, and I know you think people are going to hang up on you, and they might, are cold calling. Because guess what? Nobody calls anybody either. So, and another thing, 8 out of 10 people aren't going to even answer. So if you can just block some time to dedicate to cold something every day. And yes, it's going to be scary. And yes, you're going to hear no's. But I promise you, it's a new skill. And if you put in the reps, you will get better. And it will get easier. And I also promise you, you're going to get a lot of no's. But you will get yeses. And you will get connections. And you will get connections with people that will change your life. If you can show up and add value. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about this. Oh my God, I got to hurry up. I'm not going to talk a lot about this because Janine is coming on the stage and she's going to talk a lot about follow-up. But what I do want you to know is this. 50% of my revenue and most of our clients' revenue come from follow-up, which means all of the stuff that I'm doing on the front end only accounts for 50% of my revenue. So if you have proposals that you've sent, you'd be like, damn, I never heard from her. Follow up. If you've had people that you've had conversations with, follow up. How many people have been to Lamar's event before and then they just now signed up for Mastermind? If Lamar didn't have another event, you wouldn't have signed up. So follow up. The money is in the follow up. So what I'm telling you is if you have $1 million forecast and goal and you're not following up, you could be making $2 million a year just because you followed up. Now let's talk about important expectations. Cold is different, y'all. Cold is different. So if you've sold warm referrals, word of mouth, that's awesome. But what you have to do very early is establish trust and credibility. That you can do what you say you can do. And even if you haven't worked with big corporations, you've done what you're trying to do for them. So it doesn't have to be equivalent of a Fortune 100 company that you've delivered this service for. You've gotten client success, you've delivered the thing on time, you're reliable, you show up. That's enough. Because you know what? They're paying people 3, 4, 5x that don't even do that. Now, we're going to apply a scientific method to this process, which basically means you're going to hypothesize what's going to work. I'm going to start with the problem. I solved 10 problems, but I think this is the top one. You're going to test it, and you're going to see if you get any responses. If you don't, then go back to the next one. Okay, we're going to lead with the solution. You're going to test it and go back. Now, you might get it right on the first time, but expect that you're going to have to go through a couple of iterations. So it takes patience and perseverance because you don't know. So the faster you can validate your assumptions and know that didn't work, go to the next thing. But just because the first thing didn't work does not mean it doesn't work. It just means you need to tweak it. Now, the one thing I'm going to ask you to do for yourself is be consistent. You have to push through the fear. You have to push through the fear of unknown. You have to push through the rejection. It's going to come. But if you know it's coming, you're like, all right, I got 8 no's to get to 2, 1 maybe, and a yes. 6 down, 2 more to go. So it's going to come, but it is not personal. It is a numbers game. It is business. It is volume. And the faster you figure it out, the faster it doesn't have to be you. Okay, so I don't even know if I have time for this. I don't. Okay, real quick. Okay, so I want to ask you for a favor. Before you do that, while I'm talking, pull out your phone. If you can scan this code, enter code TSP. It's going to ask you a couple of questions. I would love your honest feedback of what I did well, what I could do better. But at the end of the rainbow is a button that says, get my goodies. And on that page, you'll get the slides. Don't really matter. What does matter is that you're going to get a list of 1,200 corporations and their supplier diversity contact. Their job is to make sure that big corporations are spending money with people like us. We will have their name, their email, their phone number, and their mailing address. So, there is absolutely no reason that you do not have 2 meetings with a dream client, because 99% of your dream clients are on that list, and I'm giving you their contact information. You're welcome. Okay. That's it. So the last thing, I'm walking off the stage. The last thing I just want to say is I want you to take the $2 bill home with you. I want you to look at it for inspiration, motivation, whatever you need, strength in the moment. But when you ask for $1, know you should be charging $2.